Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. My name is Eric Ogie with PropertySourceData.com. I just wanted to address some concerns that people had regarding the coronavirus and the real estate business. Some questions I had was people were asking me, I'm temporarily out of work because our location shut down. I want to start a real estate investing business. I don't know how. The other thing is some of our investor friends are saying, I don't want to drive for dollars, or, I don't want to talk to people at properties because I don't want to catch the coronavirus. So one solution I have is, becoming a remote digital real estate investor. Avoid the coronavirus while growing your real estate business nationwide. And inside, I'm going to share with you a video that my friend Burton has done, and he's going to share what he has and how to use his software to become a real estate investor. And you can work from home, work from your office, and stay totally away from people. So Burton, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, let me get my screen over to you guys. All right. You guys should be seeing my screen in just a few moments. All right, so PropStream.com, as you guys are aware, it's a web-based application. Username is your email, password to get in, meaning you can log in on multiple devices or to and from your office computer, home computer. I want to begin the presentation by kind of explaining the left side. This is our toolbar. Beginning with your portfolio, here you'll be able to change your username and password, apply your payment method to expedite the other features you pay for through the system, like skip tracing and direct marketing. Below the portfolio is your initial icon. So search is the primary area that you will always be dropped down into when logging in. Properties is where your properties will be stored. So again, as you're getting results, as you're saving results, properties is where we're going to store your properties and your lists that you've created. Contacts is where you're going to be able to import an outside list that you might have captured from us or from somewhere else. This is also the area where you can manually edit contact information. This is also the area where you'll be doing your skip tracing for contact information. The next icon is campaigns. This is where you'll be able to establish a campaign, select a group of individuals that you have saved or properties that you've saved, and then you'll be able to send a postcard, ringless voicemail drop, or an email campaign. You'll even be able to create a free landing page, essentially a one-page website that has an application. So if any of your leads land on your website, they'll be able to fill out their form and you'll be able to get an email notification. The last section is our help section. So we have some very basic video tutorials here, and most importantly, our contact information here at the top right. All right, so let's get down to the searching part, the bread and butter of everything. So when you log in, it's going to capture your IP address and instantly zoom in your area. So as you can see, we're here in Orange County, California. But for the last 14 years, we've been collecting data nationwide. So not just in LA or Orange County, you can search. We can search in Miami, Florida. And by doing that, we're going to zoom into that area. And what you're going to see here above the map, this is what we call our canned searches. These are all the unfiltered listing types that you can go through for whatever your investment needs are. Beginning with MLS, these are all the active, pending, sold, contingent, and failed listings. So whether you're trying to run comps like a realtor would, maybe you're looking for failed listings, maybe you're looking for active listings. We have aggregated up to about 700 MLS boards across the United States. So our coverage in terms of MLS listings is about 92% nationwide and growing. We also have county records, such as pre-foreclosures, auctions, foreclosures, which are bank-owned properties. We've also outsourced what we call the cash buyers list. This is a list of properties that were bought in cash at the time of transaction, whether they were an individual buyer or a corporate buyer. Liens, these are all involuntary liens. So these are tax liens, HOA, mechanical, utility, any other liens that is attached to the property involuntarily. Great source of leads for any wholesalers out there or anybody looking for a distressed property owner. Vacant. So we get this list from the United States Postal Service. This is a list of addresses this is a list of addresses for whatever their reasons haven't been addressing the mail for about 3 to 4 weeks or more. So here you can find some absentee owners, properties that are in distress. So whatever their reasons, they haven't been answering the mail. So this is a pretty hot list. High equity. So as a company, we've been able to aggregate title information, meaning we've been able to aggregate the initial sell amount along with the interest rate. And what our system does is it pretty much amortizes that information to present day. So we take whatever their initial purchase was, their interest rate, we calculate the minimum payments with that interest rate, and then we subtract it from the current market value. If the difference is $100,000 or more, that's going to pile up in this area. So here in Miami, Florida, there's about 132,000 properties that are currently sitting on $100,000 or more in equity. We also have attached a few more leads recently. You can find them in the filter option here at the top. Those leads are free and clear. So these are property owners that own their property outright. We have bankruptcy filings and divorce filings. So if you're interested in these, select one and hit apply down below, and your results will populate on the right-hand side. Again, nationwide data, so whether you're in Miami or let's say you're on the West Coast searching in Seattle, anytime you search an area, the results at the top will populate for you. Now you have four types of searches you can perform. You can perform a search by specific address. So for example, here, let's say we wanted to search this address. We can type in the address manually. And what the system will do is it will provide you the statistics for that property. So rather than just looking for listings, if we're driving for dollars and we find a property that we may be interested in and you don't see a for sale sign, you don't see it in public records as being in pre-foreclosure or foreclosure, hey, that's perfectly fine. Type in the address. We'll find the records that we've been able to pull, so you'll at least get the information that we've been able to aggregate, who the owner is, when they last bought it. You'll be able to run comps and so forth. So that's a specific address search. You can search by zip code. So here's a zip code where I grew up in, Downey, California. You can search by city level, as we did with Miami, Florida, Seattle, and the last search that you can perform is county level. So if we wanted to expand our investment area, we can search by an entire county. And as you can see, the results will populate based on that entire county, okay? So again, 4 possible searches to perform. The one thing to note when you're doing the county search is we're not going to be able to provide you the statistics for that area. The reason why I believe that's important is when you are, searching a city, a zip code, we're going to paint the statistics for you. How has the area grown in the last 30 days in terms of price changes or rental prices? What's the square footage last year versus this year? What are the days on market? So if I were to list a 3-bedroom property today in Miami, what's the average days on market? So about 119 days versus a 4-bedroom, which is 135 days. We have market trends. So this is just kind of dissecting what's going on in the MLS listing. So they're recording new listings have increased by 10% in the last 30 days. Closed sales have slightly decreased. So we can do that over 90 days, 6 months, a year. Pre-foreclosures last year versus this year, just kind of giving you an understanding of how potentially distressed the area is. Average monthly rent. So if we were, if we owned a 4-bedroom property, we wanted to list it or rent it out, we have the average rental cost for a 4-bedroom property. This is not to say that this is exactly what it would cost. Those of you are familiar, a 4-bedroom property downtown versus a 4-bedroom property with lake view is definitely going to rent higher than the downtown area, or vice versa, depending on how popular downtown is. So just know that this is just an average of all of the properties within Miami. Listing trends is just a little bit more details on what's going on with the MLS, like if the average list prices increase, price per square footage, or days on market. We can expand that over a year. List price versus sell price on average, and then the county's recording. So this is what the county is recording in terms of trend. So they're recording a slight dip in houses for sale, or the houses that have sold in the last 30 days. They're recording a slight dip in price, average sold dollar amount, but they're recording an increase on average price per square footage. And they're also recording that the days on market are actually decreasing, meaning properties are selling a little bit faster than the previous 30 days. Valuable information. For those of you that are already investing in Miami, you probably don't need this. For your sellers and buyers in Miami who don't know this information, very powerful tool. You can hit the print button here at the top right, and we're going to generate you a PDF report. It's essentially what you just saw right now. So you can print it out, put it in your portfolio, maybe apply it in your next bid, and so forth. Okay. All right. On top of the statistics, we're also going to give you the heat map, which is located in the map itself. You have a few tools that you can play with. Beginning with analytics here at the top right, this is our heat map. So you have 4 categories to choose from. We can break the area down based on estimated value by square footage, lot size, or bedroom. So let's say we've never been to Miami. With just a few clicks, and looking at the color legend here, we know that red represents all the $1 million properties and more. Light blue represents all the properties that are under 100,000 and more. So if I'm looking to start investing in Miami, I've never been there, at a click of the button, I know where the values are throughout Miami, Florida. I can check MLS stats. If I'm looking to eventually buy a property and list it, I can look at listing prices in the area. Or, bottom line, this is probably one of our most favorite of the bunch, price growth. So show me how the area has grown in the last 6 months. Red represents 100% or 50% growth or more. Light blue is 50% loss. I can look to a year. I can go beyond a year. And so as you can see, the red areas are areas that have grown dramatically in the last 3 years. So we can now, instead of looking at all of Miami, we can now focus on an area that has growth either in the last 3 years or the last year. And the last category is rental value. So if we're looking to potentially rent out our prices, we have the average price, average rental scale for you. So red represents 5,000 or more rental prices on a monthly basis, and then light blue represents 500 or less on a monthly basis. So a very powerful tool. Here's a cool little trick you can do. I know a lot of investors will do this. They'll do price growth last year, and then here at the top left, we have a draw search feature. So rather than searching all of Miami, we can now search, for example, this hot strip right here of growth. And so what that's going to do is our system's only now going to populate the results for this little customized box I drew. It's going to provide you the statistics for this box that I drew. And so now we can just focus on all the pre-foreclosures, MLS listings, cash buyers, properties with liens only in this specific area. So I highly encourage you guys to use those tools side by side. All right. Bottom right, you have the ability to go from road to satellite. And here's a really cool feature. Our maps are hosted by Bing, and we've integrated their street view. So if I was interested in number 5, I can keep zooming down. I can click on the street, and now I have road eye view of number 5. So now I can see what the property looks like. All right, get an understanding if there needs to be landscaping done or some paint done in the front side. All right, so really cool feature there, and you can see the dots per house, which houses have grown 100% and so forth. So that is our heat map for you guys. With the draw search feature, definitely use them both side by side. All right, I'm going to actually take this to the west side. For personal reasons, I'm kind of interested in this area, but I'm going to show you guys the best way to kind of approach the application. All right, so we've seen the statistics, we see the heat map, we now have all these results above the map. What do we do next, right? Well, the next step is we can click on one of these boxes and go through all 59,000 results manually, right? Or the best thing to do is to filter those results. So here at the top, this is going to be your best friend, the filter option. You'll have over 50 different criteria to apply. Essentially, you're stacking or custom building a list. So rather than just finding liens, here's a quick example. We can find all the non-owner occupied liens. Here's the liens that are single family. Let's say up to, between 3 and 5 bedrooms, 2 and 4 bathrooms. I can apply square footage, lot size, year built, home features. and that's the property characteristics section. Now we can play with the MLS status. So am I looking for a property that's non-owner occupied with a lien that's currently active, failed, or sold? Or, maybe I'm interested in a certain listing amount or when it was listed, or, maybe it's lasted over 90 days on the market. Perhaps it was listed below our market price that we've calculated. Or maybe we just want a property that's not yet listed. Maybe we want to get to the owner before a broker or realtor gets to the owner. Okay, so I'm going to put off market for this example. Foreclosure status. So here we can stack, essentially we can find a even more motivated seller. So not only do they have a lien, but maybe they're also in pre-foreclosure with a notice of default or a notice of trustee document attached to it. And let's say that pre-foreclosure was maybe listed just last month with a certain default amount attached to it. Or maybe we're looking for something that's being auctioned 2 weeks from now, right? So that way it gives us some time to talk to the owner and take advantage of their 2-week mark before they lose the home. So here you can play with all of that information. The next step is ownership info. So we can specify how many years the owner has owned this property, or when the property last sold, what it last sold for, whether the property owner is registered out of state, whether it's also registered as a vacant property by the county, and then owner type. Here we can differentiate whether we want to deal with corporate owned properties, or in this example, I'm going to find all the individually owned properties, okay? The next category is lien, bankruptcy, divorce status. So here we can specify when the lien was recorded, the amount of the lien. So maybe we can say, start at 5,000 and more, or, don't go beyond 30,000. We can choose a lien type. And then we can also specify whether the property has gone through a divorce or a bankruptcy. Value trend allows you to calculate a targeted range. So let's say you only want properties that are up to 400,000 or $250,000. Again, we've been collecting data for 14 years. I just showed you the growth map. So we can now identify properties that have grown, let's say 3%, 5% over the last year. Estimated rental income. So again, we're able to set property rentals. So if you're looking to buy a property that rents out for $1,800, so you can get that cap rate you're looking for, this is where you can apply that. And then last but not least, and by far I think the most important, is the equity and mortgage information. So here you can specify, I'm looking for a property that has at least 10,000 in equity, or maybe a percentage, right? Show me properties that have at least 30% or more in equity. Number of mortgages, total mortgage amount, loan to value ratio. Maybe I'm looking for someone with a high interest rate, or depending on when the term of the mortgage is, maybe they're halfway through, or when the mortgage will mature. I can choose the type of loan the mortgage is, or whether the property was registered at one point as a cash bought property, or if the property is owned outright. So again, 50 different options to choose from. This section will allow you to custom build, whether you're looking for liens, pre-foreclosures, cash buyers, you name it. Apply your criteria here. You're going to hit apply, and the idea is we go from 59,000 recorded liens down to 18 of them that fit our criteria, right? Or again, this is a much more specific list. If we don't want to be that specific, and let's say we just want to hit a large audience, obviously it's all about numbers. So here, instead of putting like a specific property amount, we can leave the property characteristics out, and again, it increases our amount here, right? Or hey, you know what, 30% is too high, let's do at least 10% in equity, right? And I want them to be owner occupied or non-owner occupied. So either or works for me. Now we've built a much larger list of 425. So very quick on determining what type of list you're trying to create. Now, what I would highly recommend after filtering your type of criteria, hit the Save Search button. The Save Search button will allow you to save that filter you just performed. So here we can call this the Riverside liens. I can add my characteristics, single family, 10% more equity, lien plus pre-foreclosure. Now, here's the cool part too. You see these boxes at the top, they're not permanent. So if there's a box that you don't like, you can actually check off this box and replace any of these boxes at the top. So if let's say you want to replace the lien box or the vacant box because you don't do it, have fun. If you don't replace a box, that's fine. All of your searches will be here in the all searches folder. So you can save as many criteria as you like. And the last option here in saving the search, and by far the most important, I think, is that our system can actually email you immediately if new properties, when we do our next update, if it populates with new results that fit your criteria. So as you can see today, we had 425 results. If I say, hey, email me immediately, if tomorrow morning when we do our next update, if 5 other properties populate within this criteria, I'm going to get an email with those 5 addresses on that email. So pretty much it's saying, hey, let's go back into the system and do some research on these 5 properties, save them, and market to them. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and hit save. Again, you're going to see that in your all searches folder. The idea here is the next time you log in, no need to type in all that information. You're just going to click on your template. Results will populate on the right-hand side. So that's searching, custom building, saving your search, and setting up notifications. So that's a very important thing to do. And again, guys, it's not just with liens. We can go back in here and say, hey, now that we've found liens, let's find the cash buyers that are buying single-family properties. I want these buyers to be all corporate buyers. And boom. Let me, Riverside County. Sorry, let me apply that filter. Boom. So rather than going through 100,000 cash buyers in Riverside County, I found 4,300 of them that are buying single family properties. And these are all corporate out-of-state buyers. So in my personal opinion, these are the very aggressive cash buyers. And so here again, I can save my search, name it the Riverside out-of-state buyers, have the system email me when a new buyer populates. Maybe I might call them and let them know, the type of properties I have in my portfolio or I have under contract. Okay. All right. So let's get back to our lien results. Now that we've saved the search, set up notification, the next step is to select the properties, right? So as you can see here, we have 425 properties. And here's what really defines who we are. Besides the amount of data that we have and customizing your search, this is really what defies PropStream, is when you click on a property, we're going to get all of the data that we've aggregated from attorneys, title companies, the MLS, county records, mortgage records, and we're going to put them all on this page called the property details page. So here at the top is our dashboard. We have the property image, and if you click on that, we're going to give you bird's eye view and street level, so you'll be able to analyze the property. Below that is the property characteristics, our estimated value that we've calculated. Property is currently off market, as we specified earlier. Property is in distress. We were looking for a property in pre-foreclosure. Here's the lien amount, individually owned, owner occupied, single family. Again, our estimated value, the last sell date recorded amount back in 2011. How the property has grown in the last 5 years based on our calculations. Our system has captured 5 comps, averaging value of 771. Average days on market is 85 days. You do have the ability to control that. I'll show you that in just a second. And then to the right, we have our opportunity box. So it's telling us what the potential mortgage balance we've calculated, the lien amount, and the estimated equity on this property right now. Now, all of this information I just went over is in detail down below. So let's start with property details. So we now know who the owner is. We have his property characteristics, HOA information, including his HOA fees, site information, assessment information, last sale date. So here we see that 485 that was recorded up above. We have his mortgage information. So even though the sale was 485, the actual mortgage was 358. So substantial down payment. We got his interest rate. So again, we're reverse calculating, and this is how we get that mortgage balance. We have the prior sell information and then location information. All right, so that's just property details. Pre-foreclosure details. So now we're analyzing, okay, so he has a notice of default recorded on October 5th. Here's the default amount, the loan origination information, the trustee's information, right? Lien details, right? This property has a lien. What type of lien is it? Oh, it's an abstract of judgment. Here's the creditor's name. We have the lien amount, and it looks like it's accrued interest, which is why it's climbed. All right, so again, what our system is doing is it's not just saying, hey, here's a list of liens. Here's a list of liens, and here's their details, right? So now I'm building a story. I'm trying to understand what's happening with this owner. Now, after liens, we have the ability to run our own comps. So here, we take all the other listing types that we've collected, and you'll see all these boxes down below. So these are all the results within a 1 mile radius. So here are the 10 comps. So rather than going by what our system says, we can now, say, hey, find me all the 5 bedrooms and 3 to 4 bathrooms. All right. So boom, we have 6 comparables that meet that criteria. Now we can match up square footage. And then as you can see here, we'll calculate a new sale price for you. And the cool part here too is you can hit the view report button and we're going to generate you a new comps report. So this is going to show you the new comps that you filtered. It's going to calculate their low, their high, and their average. It's going to give you the subject property, and in this case, the 6 comps that I've filtered for this property. You also have the ability to check out the neighbors. So you can see, if, what if the neighbor sold their house recently? And here's one, number 3 sold their house recently for that amount. So it's just giving us an idea of where our property is valued at. And then my favorite feature of the bunch is the MLS listing. So here we draw a 1 mile radius around the property, and we're giving you the most recent 150 MLS listings that we've pulled. So these are all the active, all the sold, all the failed. So again, this is the same data that a realtor would be pulling when running comps. So if you call a realtor and say, hey, here's an address, please run comps for me, this is the listing type that they're going to be going through. And so here I can see my competition, look at their details, see why they're listing it at that price. Maybe they have a pool and maybe my property doesn't have a pool. So there's lots of ways to measure your property in terms of value. Then we can see the pre-foreclosures, foreclosures. Maybe we can, look for another property in the area that has a lien on them, or maybe we need to find a buyer that's already buying in the area. So here's 150 cash bought properties within that area. Very powerful section here. Again, that's comparables and nearby listings. We're also going to provide you the tax information, mortgage information. So here it's going to show you what the owner has done since the initial recording. So here is the initial recording. And as you can see, there's been a lot of equity and refinances that has appeared on the property. Okay. Transaction history, just to confirm the transactions, and then documents and reports. So here on the right side are our premium reports. You'll be able to purchase your accessor map or the actual deed of the property. To the left, documents, reports. These reports will be generated when you use the analysis wizard. Okay, so this, ladies and gentlemen, is the property details page, and every one of your results will have a property detail. So you'll be able to confirm which properties are the right properties, which properties have a substantial amount of equity versus the properties that do not. Okay, so another tool within the details is the ability to print the property report. By hitting the print button, we're going to generate a CMA report for you automatically. So if you don't want to jump on Excel or do any of that, this is what the CMA report will look like. Characteristics, comparables, last market sale, property information, lien information, ownership history. Here are the comparables, nearby listings, and then we've even included the statistics on here for you guys. Okay. So great report to use to motivate a seller or even a buyer. Analysis wizard, as I was telling you guys earlier, it's just a universal analysis wizard that allows you to essentially punch in your variables. What did you buy the property for? What's the amount of the default? Did you use a mortgage? If so, what's your mortgage amount? What's your down payment interest rate? Are you looking to rent out the property? If so, what's your rental income? Expenses, what are your monthly expenses in terms of owning this property? And then last but not least, sell. So are you going to sell this property when it hits a market value or a certain cap rate? or are you selling it for a fixed dollar amount? Now, we run the analysis wizard for 5 years, but if you know for example, earlier, the days on market is going to be 4 months, we can change the 5 years to run this analysis for 4 months, and that will calculate what our return on investment will be based on our variables. When you hit finish, you'll be able to print out the complete analysis report. And so within a few clicks, we now have a full breakdown of the complete analysis. Income, expenses, tax, property, cash flow. All right. And then we have the rehab calculator. So those of you that are fixing and flipping, you're dealing with contractors, maybe you're now starting to invest out of your area, or maybe some of you are going from wholesaling to finally fixing and flipping. The rehab calculator is a very powerful tool in the sense, I'm actually save this property. So Riverside Group number 1. All right, what the rehab calculator will do is it will calculate local labor costs and parts costs for you. So once I save the property, I'll click on rehab calculator. We're going to direct you to Blue Hammer. Blue Hammer is used by major insurance companies. So when, for example, someone files a property damage report, most insurance companies will tell Blue Hammer, run me estimated costs in the area. That way we're not doing a rough estimate. We're actually getting local values on average. So here, now that the property has been captured, we can start a new project. We'll call it let's call it the kitchen project like we have in the past. All right. Once I name my project, I have 2 approaches. For the more advanced rehabbers, I can search by individual parts and pieces. So if I know I need to do electrical or exterior painting or interior painting, maybe lighting, maybe carpeting, I can choose my parts and pieces. And eventually, Blue Hammer will calculate that information, give you my costs. For those of us that are not advanced, you can search by popular projects that most rehabbers will perform. So in this example, let's say we're doing the kitchen. Let's choose cabinets and countertops. Let's say we're going to replace it with an island. It's a medium-sized kitchen. And we're going to use, not the best quality material, but somewhere in between. And these repairs will be made in the kitchen. So in just a few seconds, we've now calculated our local level costs for Riverside County to do a kitchen project. So not only have we provided a local level cost on average, but Blue Hammer will also break down all the line items that usually is performed for this project. Things like removing the faucet, even things like removing the trash from the property and how many hours it's going to take, what's the cost per hour, and then what's the total cost for the job. This is not to say that this is exactly going to cost $19,000, but again, this is giving you a foundation to work with. So now that we have this value, if I call a contractor and they say, hey, yeah, I can do it for $26,000, your next question should be, hey, can I see your line items, right? Now you can cross-reference where they're getting those extra few $1,000s from you from, okay? And so that is our Blue Hammer tool. Very powerful feature, definitely utilize it. So that's all the features within the property details page. Again, every single property will have that, so feel free to click on it. The next step after researching our properties individually by clicking on it is, of course, highlighting our list. So in this case, I'm going to select all of them, and I'm either going to hit save. Now, save will only let me save up to 100. Being that I have more, I'm going to hit add to list. Add to list will let you save up to 1,000. So I'm going to create a new list. I'm going to call this the Riverside Liens list. All right, so we've just saved our list. All right, so again, we went from searching Riverside, filtering our criteria, setting up a notification so our system can notify us. We clicked on the property to make sure the margins are right. We now highlighted them all and saved them. So the next step is just to make sure that they're in our properties page. So again, this is where we're going to monitor all the saved groups. In this case, our list is right here. So I click on that. Here are all my results. Here is pretty much, this is where you would probably do your last minute editing and analyzing. So again, it's going to probably take a few days to negotiate these deals. So over time, you can click on the properties, see if anything has happened, in the next few days. What's really cool about this section is these 4 boxes at the top. They're going to monitor all the properties that you have saved. So in my account, I've saved over 12,000 properties, and they're all within different groups. Now, rather than going through each group individually and seeing what has happened to each of those groups, our system will pretty much tell you what's going on. So of your 12,000, 796 of them have had new recordings. So when I click on that box, the 796 will be just below, and it's going to tell me what marketing lists or what groups they're in. So now I can highlight them all, maybe remove them or add them to a new group. Recently sold, right? So this is telling you if any properties may have sold under your nose. So here we can highlight them, move them to a different group, or delete them. Status changes, so if any of your properties maybe gone from off market to active, or active to failed. And then my personal favorite is auctions. So of my 12,000 properties saved, 267 of them are up for auction right now. So these, I believe, are the most highly motivated sellers right now, and I'll probably want to highlight them, export them, and start cold calling. Or if I don't have their numbers, contacts. So contacts is where I'll be able to take the groups that I've saved in properties and collect contact information. And so in contacts, the skip tracing feature is here on the left side called append jobs. All you'll have to do is hit add new. Step 1, choose your group. So here at the top, I'm going to choose my Riverside liens list. Here are my owners. I'm going to go ahead and make sure they're all selected. Hit add selected contacts. So here they are down below. They're all highlighted now. I'm going to go ahead and hit done, and step 1 is now completed. So 288 have been selected. Let's go ahead and go to step 2. Step 2 is asking us what type of information we'd like for each address. So skip tracing feature currently is 10 cents an item. So for these 200 addresses, I want 1 landline each if the system can find it, 2 cell phones if possible, and 2 emails if possible. We as a company will automatically exclude any numbers that are on the do not call list. Or if you want, we can include those numbers. Okay, so I'm going to exclude them, hit next. Here's my contacted list, my total costs. I'm going to go ahead and hit place order. I'm going to name this the Riverside lien list with contact info. And boom. So now I've just processed a skip trace job, and you can see it here, my Riverside liens list with contact info. The system is currently processing my order. So in about 15 minutes to 20 minutes or half an hour, depending on how large your list is, of course, the system is going to go from processing, and as you can see here, no emails and no phone numbers are applied, to complete. So here you're going to see complete at the top, and we're going to automatically put the emails and phone numbers in here for you. So again, this is one I did a few weeks back, 190 people. So we're going to go from processing, no emails, no phone numbers, to complete. Here are the emails and phone numbers. And here's the cool part. If you click on view summary, it's going to tell you what the results are. And that's actually the price that we're going to charge you. So we're only at the moment charging you for the success rate. Okay. All right. So boom, just like that, we went from searching, filtering, setting up notifications, analyzing properties, saving them, skip tracing them. Now we got their contact information. And last but not least is, at this point, actually, before I go to the next stage, after we get our results, you can actually highlight them and export them. So if any of you guys are using your own marketing elements or applications, hey, again, we're a data provider. So once you skip trace it, you can highlight them and export it to a CSV file. So you'll see the CSV file down below. Or if you don't have those elements available, allow us to take care of that for you. So here is our campaign section. To start a campaign is very easy. You'll hit new campaign, name the campaign, so Riverside campaign. We're going to choose our group. So I'll select the group, and this time I'm going to choose the group from the appended jobs list, right? So I'm going to choose my Riverside liens with contact info. I'll be able to market to more than one group if I wanted to. or just stick with one. Once I select my name and my target, I'm going to hit save. The system will say, hey, you've successfully saved your campaign. Here's the name of your campaign. And the first thing it's going to tell you to do is create a website. This is for free, and I highly recommend that you do it. The reason for this is it's a landing page. But most importantly, there's an application process on your landing page. If someone does land on your landing page and they like what they see, they can fill out the form, hit send, and you'll get an email notification with their personalized message that they put on the email or on the website. So when you start the website, the first thing you're going to see is the website name. As you can see, it matches this last part here. We're going to give you a generic URL. So the idea here is you want to change the last part. So Burton, the lien guy, right? System will say, hey, it's not available. Okay, probably you've used that already. Burton helps you with liens. Boom, that's available. So as you can see, this is going to be our URL once we finish this website. Contact email, we put your username, but if you have an assistant and you want the notifications to go to them, put your assistant's email. Enable website template. So as you're designing your own website, we can store that for you. So if you want us to save it so you can use it again for a later campaign, make sure to check it off or leave it unchecked if you don't want us to save it. And then you have two options. You can start with a blank website, or you can use one of our predefined templates. Now, the predefined template's really just giving you a banner. So as you can see, we're giving you a banner. But if you don't want to use a template, you can start with the blank one and upload your own. You can add a logo, you can add some images to this website, and then the header text and the body text. So instead of we buy houses, hello, my name is Burton and I'll buy your house. All right. Perfect. So we just edited our header line, been in business for 15 plus years. So cash sale only, right? So boom. So I've created my body header text, my body text. Maybe I want this a little bit bigger. Here we go. Now that I've designed my website, I can actually preview it before I launch it. So now we can see what it looks like. And all right, there's my header. Here's my thing. Here's the application. This is the preview page. If I like what I've done, I'm just going to hit publish. And now the website's activated. What does that mean? It means that this URL is now a legitimate URL. So as you can see here, this is my URL. This is actually my website now. So I can put this on my Facebook page, maybe on my business cards. I mean, you name it. So in just a few seconds, literally, we created a website for our specific campaign. So hopefully of the 200 people that I have, some of them will land on this website and then fill out their information, and then I'll get an email that they're interested. All right. So we just created a website. I hit back. This is our campaign dashboard. So here's the name of our campaign. And again, to the left side are all of our active campaigns, all of our inactive campaigns. And again, as you can see, each campaign will have different activities you can perform, a different amount of people for each campaign. And then each campaign, again, has its own website. All right. All right, so name of our campaign, top right's to shut down your campaign. Be careful with this. This will shut down any activities that you have, including your website. So don't shut it down right away. Probably might want to keep your campaign active for a little bit. Below end campaign is when the campaign was initiated, your website. You want to edit your website, select edit. Below that is the activity monitor. So here it's monitoring how many targeted recipients we have, how many postcards we've sent, how many impressions, how many emails have been clicked on, how many voicemails have been delivered, how many websites have been visited, or how many times our website was visited. And as you can see here, we visited our own website, so it already hit us. All right, postcards. This is the activity monitor part now. So pretty much getting to the last stage here. 3 campaigns you currently have. Beginning with postcards, you're going to get started and name your postcard. So I'm going to call it the Riverside Cards number 1 because I'm going to do more than one. I get to choose two sizes, the standard size postcards or the 5x5, 8x5. The difference besides sizing is pricing. Standard is 64 cents a card. I'll repeat that. Standard is 64 cents a card. Larger size cards are 78 cents a piece. Again, they're 78 cents a piece. So standard 64, 5x5, 8x5 are 78 cents a piece. Third option, do you want us to store your design? So if you are going to upload your own template and you're going to use it again in the future, definitely make sure to check that off so we can store it for you. And then the last option here is, do you want to start with the blank postcard or use one of ours? If you decide to start with the blank postcard, this is your editor. Very basic, very simple. So you can either upload your own image by browsing your image, or you can just go straight to advanced edit and just create a postcard from scratch. So I know some of you guys might do like a yellow card and then, just maybe put your name in here or something like that. So yeah, once we have our yellow card, we can extend it. My name is Burton. We can change our font, change our size. So, you name it, you can fully customize the type of card you're looking for. If not, again, you can use our template if you don't have the time to do that. And here are templates that you can use. What's even cooler is, even if you upload your own template or use our template, you can still go to advanced edit and redesign. So if you upload, let's say, a picture of the property you're trying to sell, you can go in advanced edit after uploading the image, and then now you can add layers on top of it. So we can move the header up. Maybe we want to add like a logo in the bottom down here, maybe our picture here at the top right. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with the postcard. Ultimately, once you're done editing your postcard, you'll be able to preview your postcard to see what it's going to look like. You can download your postcard. So if you don't want to use our service, you can download your image and manually send them out yourself or take them to a different provider. Or if you want to send it through us, you can hit print and mail. We'll publish your design, and then we're going to give you the preview. So you definitely want to make sure everything looks good. And then you'll hit continue. I have approved my proof, and we're going to give you the costs. So we're going to take the design you just created through our system and directly send it to the addresses for you. All right? And as you can see, we send it first class USPS. Okay. So that is our postcard. We're going to go ahead and hit save. All right. So once we create our postcard, you'll see it here. It's unpublished. I haven't sent it out yet. But we have two more activities to perform if we wanted to. We can hit add activity and we can do another postcard. So again, we can do, let's say 2 weeks have gone by. We can call this a postcards number 2 and do it all over again. All right, so, we'll hit save. So, we sent a postcard last week. We sent a postcard number 2 this week. Maybe we want to do an email this time. So we can do email marketing, name the email. So email number 1. What do you want the subject to say? Hey, I buy tax lien properties. Third step, click-through URL. Now, if you created a website with us, we automatically will put your website here. The idea here is when they get the email, they'll be able to click on the email and then they'll get redirected to whatever website is in this field. So if you have a website with us, we'll automatically put that in there for you. Or if you want to put your own business website or your Facebook page, feel free to do that. Third is delivery date. So we will send this out immediately, or we can send it out maybe on a weekend in the evening when everyone's at home. Next step is, do you want us to save your template? Again, check for yes, uncheck for no. And then the last step is, do you want to start with a blank email template or do you want to use one of ours? And it's very similar to the other editor. So here at the top left, banner, top logo, bottom logo, header text, Burton will buy houses fast and fair offer today. As you can see, that changes. Body text, and then we have 4 or 5 different layouts to choose from. And then once you hit publish, it's going to send it out based on your schedule. But before you hit publish, you're probably wondering, well, how is it going to look? You can hit preview and actually email it to yourself. And then within a few seconds, you're going to actually see what that email is going to look like. That way you can say, okay, you know what, I need to do it differently. And actually, I think I just got that email. So here it is. Hey, I buy tax lien properties. I'm going to click on that, Here's the preview of what the email campaign is going to look like. Burton will buy houses fast and fair offer today. Here's my body text. And if I like, let's say I'm a distress owner and I love, this is helping me. I love what I see. I can click on learn more, and guess what's going to happen? Redirected to that URL that you put. In this case, they're redirected to my landing page where they can learn a little bit more about me. Maybe, see my picture here. And, if they like what they see, they can put Simon says, an email, simon@yahoo.com, a phone number, and then, Burton, I need help. Give me a call as soon as possible. All right, I'm going to hit send. And then what do you think is going to happen? That's correct. You're going to get an email notification, and here it is. So PropStream, boom, Simon says, that's loading the background image, but Simon says, here's his email, phone number, Burton, I need help, give me a call. So once I establish my campaign, I could, be out with the family having movie night or dinner with the wife, and I got a notification that someone just, answered my call, right? So very powerful system you guys have in front of you. And then again, the next step after previewing it, you're going to want to hit publish, and we're going to send it out based on your schedule. Okay, so I'll save this. And as you can see here, we've done 3, right? 1 postcard, did one a following week later. We did an email campaign. Maybe I want to send another postcard again, round 3, or maybe round 2 of emails. So you can keep adding activities. That's the cool part. The last campaign we have is the ringless voicemail drop. Again, I'm going to repeat this. Ringless voicemail drop. This is not robocalling. No one gets a ring. No providers are involved. It's literally our digital system sending a message to their digital system. So they're not going to get charged for anything. Again, they won't get a ring. What's going to happen is they're going to get a missed call notification with the caller ID that you get to apply yourself. And then they get your specific, your customized message that you've either uploaded or recorded through us. Okay, so let me show you how easy it is to set that up. 4 steps. Step 1, select a caller ID. Clearly, those of you who are new don't have one. You're going to hit add, apply your caller ID, and hit save. Boom, caller ID is now created, and you can use it again later on. Step 2, select a recording. If you don't have one, add a recording, name it, lien recording. And then you can either upload your own audio file. So if you guys are recording yourself, just make sure it's in a WAV format, and you can upload your own audio recording. Or for the not so tech savvy guys out there, don't worry, we got you covered. Click on create new recording. We're going to give you an 800 number to call and your specific PIN. They're going to record your message over the phone, and at the very end of it, you're going to hit save new recording, and then it's going to create your drop-down message. And here's the cool part. You can actually hit the play button and listen to your recording before you even send it out. So you can make sure that the message is clear, your tone is correct. Maybe there's some information you forgot to include, so you can redo it. Third step is scheduling. So, call drops, you're going to name it first, or, Friday call. Now, the thing with scheduling is we send it the day of. There's no timing this for later on. Like, you can't do that. Not yet, at least. So we do send it the day of. Being that today is Friday, we're going to send it between the hours of 9 and 5 p.m. Or I can extend that, maybe have it go out until 9 p.m. at night. Now, the reason why we give you the other days is some of you guys out there, and I'm sure there are tons of you guys out there, you guys are going to be uploading thousands of lists in this voicemail drop. And so the reality is, if you do have like 10,000 people to call, even from 9 to 9, there may be leftovers, right? So at 9 o'clock, when we stop making those calls, there might be 4,000 or 5,000 left over. The leftovers will pick up on the following day. So if there are 4,000 left Friday night, the remaining 4,000 will pick up based on whatever time I put. So I can say, hey, start 12 o'clock Saturday morning, call the remaining 4,000. At Saturday, stop at 5. If anything is left over, it goes to the next day. Okay, so remember that. We send it the day of. There's no scheduling in advance. So you're going to hit save after you create your recording. And then the last option here is calls per minute. Now, We can do up to 1 call per minute or up to 30 calls per minute. It does not change your pricing. So let's talk about that. What is pricing? It's 10 cents per drop. And what I mean by drop is the drop has to actually go through. So if the call is, let's say the voicemail is not set up, or the voicemail is full, or maybe the number might be disconnected. If that's the case and we cannot drop your message, we don't charge you for that drop. So if you have 100 numbers and we only drop it 92 times, your message, then it's 92 times 10 cents is what you're going to pay. So instead of charging you $10, it was $9.20 to do your ringless voicemail drop. Okay, so the calls per minute doesn't change your pricing at all. Really what this does is get through your list as fast as possible. And this is a perfect example. I have 228 contacts. I can either do 1 call a minute and spend 228 minutes calling these guys, or I can do 30 calls a minute, and in about 10 minutes, I've dialed 300 calls or 300 numbers. So 228 minutes versus 10 minutes. I mean, how fast do we want to get our message to these buyers, right? That's the idea. So calls per minute doesn't change your pricing. I usually recommend just maxing it out, get your numbers, get your message out to them as fast as possible. That way you can start the next voicemail campaign, okay? So after we do steps 1 through 4, save and activate, and boom, your voicemail drops are now being delivered. So with that said, that is PropStream.com for you, everyone. So this is our campaign section. Just to kind of go back from the beginning, let me kind of reiterate what we did. 4 searches, specific address. If you're driving for dollars, you can start typing in addresses to get their details, especially if they're not listed within any of our categories. You can search by zip code level, city level, or county level. Once you do that, you'll get the statistics. You'll be able to use the heat map. You'll get the unfiltered results above the map. I highly recommend you use the filter to customize your list. Make sure, the properties that you're looking for have like 30% in equity, or maybe single family, or, owner occupied, yes or no. Once you apply your results will populate on the right-hand side. Before clicking on any of them, I would recommend that you save your search and set up the notification. And you can do that by hitting Save Search. Remember, if you don't replace any of our boxes, your searches will be here in the All Searches folder. Once you get your results on the right-hand side, you're going to want to click on those properties and analyze them, right? What do they owe? What do I not know about? Did they file for bankruptcy? Let me look at their comps. Let me look at their neighbors. Let me look at their transactions. Has he been irresponsible with the HELOCs and stuff like that? Once you've analyzed your property, you're going to either individually select them or highlight them all and either save to a group. Again, groups are up to 100. If your results are more than 100, hit Add to List. You'll be able to save up to 1,000. Once you save them, we store them in your properties. This is where you do your last-minute editing, deleting, merging into one group or another. Contacts is where you'll be able to manually edit information, or here on the left side, append jobs. By selecting Add New, you'll be able to perform a skip trace. Pretty much take a group that you've saved, collect contact information. Once you get their contact information, you'll be able to highlight and export them, or you can now take that list and take it over to our campaign section, where you'll be able to create a campaign specifically for that audience. And then within that campaign, you'll be able to establish a landing page for them, which has an online application, send postcards as many times as you like, or you can do a ringless voicemail drop. Oh my God, that list is done. Look at that, guys. Look at that. I'm sorry for interrupting myself, but look at that. 228. Look at our results. Love it. All right, and then view summary. And this is what the cost was for this 228. I don't know about you guys, but after this call, I am sending voicemails and emails. But yeah, after we get our results, just like this, we have our results for the Riverside that we just performed. So here I can, highlight them all and export them onto an Excel sheet, or just like we did, I'll start a campaign, call it the Riverside campaign, upload them, create a website, and send out my marketing elements. And hopefully they'll either call me directly, or land on my landing page and fill out my form, and then I get that email notification to call them right away. So with that said, guys, thank you for joining me today. I hope this sheds some light on how to best approach this application, and what we've been doing for the last 14 years, and kind of helping you not just get a listing, which anybody can do nowadays, right? Anybody can go to a website and get a list, right? But what defines who we are is the ability to analyze the property, right? So yeah, you got a list, but what about the property? Do you know who the owner is? Do you know if maybe they filed for bankruptcy, or do you know if they owe something on their mortgage? Or that's what PropStream.com is here for. It's to help you analyze it, to really get the right leads, skip trace, and then market to them. So I like to consider it like a one-stop shop for investors. So with that said, again, thank you guys. If you have any questions, give us a call or email us. This demonstration was recorded, so if you need a copy, give us a call or email us, and we'll send that copy over to you guys. Okay, guys? Again, thank you so much. If you have any questions, make sure to call us. Have a good one.